Hmm? Ah!
So what's up with you guys in the old Dharma jumpsuits?
You didn't tell him?
No, I was waiting for you.
Tell us what?
We're in the Dharma Initiative.
They came back to the island?
No. We came back. And so did you. It's 1977.
What?
Welcome to another episode of the Revisited Podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Kristin. This week we are covering Lost, Season 5, Episode 9, Namaste.
Nama what?
Namaste. I can say it again.
No, I almost
No,
did
I
too.
know.
When you said namaste the second time, I was almost like, Nama what?
Nama what? Whose house? Run's house.
Oh, God, we're already off the rails. It's not even a minute in.
That's all right.
It happens.
So what'd you think of this episode? Again.
I watched it twice. I mean, it's a good episode. We're on the tails of LaFleur, which is arguably one of the better episodes of the season, along with Life and Death of Jeremy Bentham. You know, we had two great episodes in those two, and now we're into this. But this is where things start to really ramp up as to like, okay, what is happening with these groups? Because now it's been distinguished. They're two separate timelines. And I had a theory about one of the timelines, but then I kind of proved my own theory wrong. I'll just say it real quick. I had a theory that the Sun and Lapidus and Ben timeline is not the present.
Okay.
It's actually still the past, but not as far back as 1977.
Okay.
And
why do you feel that it's not that way?
Well, mainly because the runway is completed. And we know that Kate and Sawyer were helping to build it. So the runway wouldn't have been completed until after then.
Were they building to complete it, or were they building to extend it?
Oh, that's a good point. They could have just been extending the runway. Because
remember when they were coming in on the plane, the co-pilot was like, that's too short of a runway.
We're going to run out.
Yeah.
Well, because there's one thing in that scene that makes me believe. I know we're already diving right into it, so we'll just put the spoiler alert out there now.
Oh.
Always a possibility of spoilers.
So sorry.
No, it's I was the one that dove right in. So and we're diving right into the theory part of it too. But before we even get into the notes about the episode, so again, possibility of spoilers for future episodes. Now that that's out there, did you listen very carefully when they were putting the plane down on the ground?
Because it was it was Alex. No, it was the numbers that were being rattled off.
It was the numbers broadcast. It was Rousseau's broadcast that was playing. It was the mail recording that happened after Rousseau spoke, because you heard the numbers 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
Mm-hmm.
If we remember timeline wise, that was turned off. They turned that off in order to reach the mainland. Remember when they all go to the tower?
Right. So that does put them in the past then.
It would put them before 815 even crashed.
Well, that makes sense because you can't have two suns on the island at the same time.
Thank you for bringing that up too, because that's another theory I came to as to that's why Ben couldn't go back with them to 1977.
Because there was already another Ben.
There was already a Ben there, but that begs the question, why couldn't Sun? Was Sun already on the island too? And
No.
we just didn't know it?
No.
Well, then
No,
why
but he does say, but Christian does say you have a long journey ahead of you.
True.
So there is a way to get there.
But we know, spoiler, she never does. Her and Jin aren't reunited until after the incident. But yeah, like, God, we really are diving head on deep into the deep end from the start of this conversation.
Yeah, we should back up if you want, or we could just keep going.
I'm totally fine, but like that's another thing that I thought about too, because I read that online. Somebody brought up the point that the reason why Ben didn't go back to 1970, it's very easy to explain why Frank never went back, because Frank was not part of that group. He came in late, he came in with the freighter. Ben couldn't go back to 1977 because Ben was already in 1977.
But they originally went back to 1974.
1974.
Was he already there?
He was already there.
He was born on the island.
He wasn't
born on the island. He came to the island after. Yep.
He came to the island in 1973.
Right.
That's when Horace convinced Roger to bring him and Ben to the island. So they were already there the year before the Sawyer and Kate and not Sawyer and Kate, Sawyer and Jin and Miles all showed up.
Right.
Back in time.
And Juliet.
Yes. So he was already on the island, so he could not go back to the island back in 1977 because he already existed in 1977.
It's weird that Eloise Hawking wouldn't know that.
Maybe she did.
I mean, given that Daniel Faraday is on his own side quest right now in this episode, it's interesting to me that Eloise Hawking wouldn't have that memory.
Well, I mean, there's also the fact that Ben doesn't know Saeed in the present day when he's already met Saeed.
Right.
In the past.
Well, because it didn't happen yet.
But what?
Because remember, Desmond didn't get the memory of seeing Daniel in the hatch.
That's right.
Until it happened.
That's right. That's right. That's a good
So
point.
they need to have the memory.
But I think even I don't even want to say it because I don't remember 100% for sure.
Okay, so let's change courses here.
Okay.
So my initial thought of this episode was that it is, and I think this is the reason why it's not as great as LaFleur, is that this is just we're at episode 9, and it's strange, but this is a setup episode where it's almost like a premiere because it's setting up now that everybody's all on the island and the new plane crash 316 has happened. Now we have to set up the storylines. And so I think that there's some success and that there's some failures in this episode as far as setting up things that the writers or showrunners want to set up. The biggest failure to me is trying to set up a forced love triangle between Juliet, Sawyer, and Kate. You know, putting Kate in the house right next door, having them not really talk to each other, having Juliet show up to save her from the list. You know, it's just all of that to me seems super forced.
I'd even go as far as to say it's a rectangle. Because you could throw Jack into that mix too with Juliet.
I mean, you can, but I really don't think that it's really there because I think Jack just sees that they're obviously living together. Nobody says anything. She removes herself from the room. You know, Juliet's great because she doesn't make anything awkward.
No, and Juliet has one of the best straight faces
ever.
like ever, yeah, of any character. I mean, that whole I mean, we'll get into it deeper, but that whole conversation with Amy was like, I was like, wow, like Juliet can keep a straight face like nobody else.
Well, she's had to lie for so many years living on the island, working for Ben, that I think that and she's so comfortable where she is. She knows where she is. Now she's been there for 3 more years in in the 70s. So I think that she just is very comfortable with her life there. And it makes it very easy for her to navigate her own story.
Yeah. What if, oh, this is weird and kind of ick, but what if present day Ben is in love with Juliet because he had a crush on Juliet when he was a kid?
That would make more sense.
Right? I don't think that's ever explained, but like, I don't think that's ever touched upon, but like, what? That's kind of
But
weird,
again, he didn't have that memory yet.
No, he wasn't aware. I mean, but that's something we talked about last week, is like, we know Ben exists within this group, within the Dharma Initiative.
Right.
How is it that Sawyer and Juliet are not aware of it?
Because it doesn't look like the Dharma Initiative is really all that big. And if LaFleur, Sawyer, is head of security, he knows everybody there.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, how could you not realize that's the same Ben you've been dealing with?
Maybe they do, and they just steer clear of him.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe they just kind of ignore it. I mean, they've had 3 years to kind of adjust to it.
And they don't have, Juliet might, but I think that everybody's history with Ben really got complicated off of the island with the Oceanic Six.
Well, because Ben was more the villain on the island. And
he was, but he was so beat up and just useless by the end of it. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. We're getting ahead of ourselves again, though.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
So, I didn't really appreciate that. I just, I think that, Sawyer and Juliet are such a solid couple that I don't think anything was really going to be forced upon them as far as a triangle or a rectangle or octagon or whatever you want to call it, happened.
Well, I think that might come across as a little bit of a failure to us or to you, because we already know what the future of that couple holds. I think as a first-time viewer, if you look at it from that perspective, it kind of complicates things as a viewer, because you're like, oh, like, well, we already know Sawyer and Juliet have been together for 3 years, but now we're throwing Kate back into the mix. What's going to happen? We already know what happens.
Right.
So maybe that's why it comes across as a failure to us.
I don't know. I've never liked the love triangle trope. I hate it. I've always hated it. I just don't think adding stuff like that is good for any storyline or anything like that. But, that's just my opinion.
No, I absolutely see it. I think the love triangle, I never understood making it a love triangle, because like a love triangle has 3 sides, which means like if you have 3 people incorporated into it, yes, I guess that technically means you have 3 points. But a love triangle let's just say it's between Jack, Kate, and Sawyer, which means Sawyer loves, like, Kate loves Sawyer, but also loves Jack. But then wouldn't that also mean that Jack loves Sawyer? Like,
so it's basically like it's an angle, not a triangle.
Yeah, that's really all it is. It's an angle. It's not a triangle, because in order for it to be a triangle, and this goes for any love triangle trope, it means that those other 2 characters also have to be in love with each other.
Right.
If you're not connecting the triangle, it's not a triangle.
Right.
So I'm with you on the love triangle thing. It's like, it's not a triangle. It's an angle. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it could be acute or obtuse.
Well, they're all obtuse to me.
There you go.
I do love that Jack sucks no matter where he is. He just sucks all around. It doesn't matter. On the island, off the island, you just spit out your drink, and that was awesome.
I should not have been drinking when you said that. I started taking a drink, and Jack sucks no matter where he is. Well, I mean,
that was worth the video alone.
I caught it. It didn't come out all over my microphone, which is good. But I almost did. No, like I have a note on that too. Like I don't want to go into the whole Jack is the worst thing, but he really is. I mean,
Well, I'll do it.
This is a character that that's kind of been ingrained in us from the start of the show, that he is the leader. He is the one that's working to get them off. And the more and more we see it, the more and more we realize, well, it's not really leadership. It's more the hero complex that we've mentioned before. And now in this episode, when you see the dynamic of Jack 3 years later to Sawyer 3 years later, holy shit. Like Sawyer shuts Jack down. Well, and without hesitation or even effort.
This is Sawyer's show. Down. This is Sawyer's show now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, God,
like
yeah.
The island is Sawyer's. The Dharma is Sawyer's. He has his life. He's been living here for 3 years. He's a professional confidence man, which means that he thinks and he plots and he plans and he completely knows what's going on. And then this, time bomb comes to the island because what else is Jack? You know what I mean? He's a time bomb. He just, and Sawyer nails it on the head. He goes, all you do is react. You just react to everything and it gets people killed. So don't come at me about this. What were you going to say before I stomped on your face?
No. Yeah. No, it's not that at all. I mean, it's that you're stepping on my point.
Sorry.
I mean, no, you weren't stepping on my point. That's what I was saying. Like you weren't. But I mean, like even before that whole conversation, like we know Jack is not in his element and knows not what to do at all in the moment where Sawyer tells him, I'm going to bring you in for intake if we don't do it within 10 minutes. Jack doesn't say, like he turns to Kate and asks Kate what's her opinion on it. And then Hurley gives his on top of it. But just the fact that like he doesn't make the decision for the group like he has in the past, he's actually asking other people for their opinions, means Jack is completely out of his element here. He does not know what to do. And that's right. That's the first moment where this power kind of shifts between the two of them, because they've always kind of been in competition for maybe not early on, because Sawyer just wanted to be on his own and do his own thing. But a little bit later, as Sawyer becomes more and more part of this group, there's been a little bit of a competition as to who is a better leader. Even though we all know it's Hurley.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, Sawyer is the best. If we're talking about between Jack and Sawyer, the edge goes to Sawyer.
Yes. 100% agree.
Even when the edge even went to Locke. When Jack was locked up, I mean, you take Jack out of a leadership role and things run a little bit better because Jack was very inner circle, cliquey, had to go off and do things, had to go and Sawyer makes such a good point here that I don't think I ever caught before, because I've never broken down every episode before like this, right? And Jack was fully in reaction mode. And that's not leadership. And that's why his life keeps falling apart. That's why he can't leave the island and go back to his everyday life, because he's still reacting. He's still trying to save people one by one and not as a group. Yeah. And Sawyer is the exact opposite, and it works.
There's a difference between being reactionary like Jack and acting on your instinct, because if depending on what your instinct is how well that works. Jack's instinct is as a doctor, so he wants to become, that's if he was ever acting on instinct, that's the instinct he's acting on. Sawyer, on the other hand, is a con man. So his instinct is to be a con man. That works better in this situation that they're currently in. He, like you said, he's been running a 3-year con at this point.
Well,
incredibly well. Like even to the point where when they're in intake and Jack is face to face with Pierre Chang, a man who's only seen in videos at this point, and he asks him like, who brought you in? And he says LaFleur, and he's like, oh, LaFleur runs a tight ship. And it's like,
Good man.
Yeah, good man, runs a tight ship. That's a incredibly good con man. Because he has them all believing. And I think like this is almost to the point where it's not a con anymore. He's adapted to this.
No. This is now just his life.
This is his life.
He's living an honest life probably for the first time in his life, just with a different name.
Yeah.
But he's never gone by his name. So that's trivial, you know?
Well, I mean, and this is kind of going back to the love triangle thing, the love angle. I'm not even going to call it a triangle anymore.
The love angle. The obtuse angle.
The obtuse love angle. There's the one of the things they kind of throw in there, and this is one of my notes too, is that when Jack is looking for LaFleur's house and he runs into Phil and he asks Phil, he's like, do you know where James LaFleur is? Phil says to him, and don't call him James. He hates that. You know why he hates that? Because Kate calls him James. Because when they are all reintroduced to each other, when Sawyer pulls up, which Hurley giving him the big hug is just so heartwarming to me. He's
like, you're alive. Oh my gosh, you're alive. Like that is a great moment for Hurley.
And he's like, Kong, I miss that. And he's like, I miss you too, Hugo. Like Sawyer
Hurley looks like he's immediately happy to be back the minute he sees his friends. Like he sees that his friends are alive. And I love it how he's like, dude, Chin, your English is awesome.
Yeah, well, he doesn't realize it yet, but it's been 3 years. So I mean,
right.
But yeah, like, in that moment when he's seeing everybody, he calls Jack Doc. Kate calls him James. But he also calls Kate, not Freckles.
Yep. He keeps it friendly, but at arm's reach. Yeah. And I don't know, does she know yet about Juliet and Sawyer? Does Kate know?
I don't think she does, because how would she know? She knows that Juliet is there, but I don't think she knows that Juliet and Sawyer are together. Even though she's in the next house.
Come home, yeah.
I mean, she's in the house next door. She could have seen Sawyer. She could have seen Juliet answer the door for Jack.
Maybe.
So, but I don't think it's known yet that she knows that the two of them are together. I mean, personally, to us, it doesn't matter because that's over to us.
Yep.
It's Juliet and Sawyer now, which is, and I don't want people that are listening to think like this is all because we're Team Sawyer over Team Jack. Like, no, we're legitimately looking at this, and Sawyer calls him out for being reactive. Like that's what we're talking about.
Well, and Jack is just like, he's so pissed off at him just for sitting and reading a book, but it's like, what, you want me to sit here and pace around and wring my hands and look like something is wrong? No, I'm not going to make a spectacle of myself. Like Jack being like, I need to go talk to LaFleur. Well, why? You're a custodial guy that wants to talk to the head of security on the first night that you're there. Like, think for 1 second. Think.
Yeah, because
he walks in acting like he's all of a sudden in charge, and he's a fucking janitor.
And it's kind of irresponsible to ask anybody where his house is, because you're automatically going to give people like, well, why are you wondering where LaFleur lives? Like you said, he's a janitor. Why is the janitor looking for the head of security?
Right.
On the day you got there.
Right.
But I also think at the same time, for someone who's been there for 3 years and someone who knows they're supposed to act like they don't know each other, Juliet should have closed that door before hugging Jack.
Good point.
That's a little irresponsible on Juliet's part. Because if they're not supposed to know each other, you just made it very easy for anybody to witness that.
However, when they asked who Jack's recruiter was, he did say it was LaFleur.
No, that wasn't his recruiter. That was his shuttle. Who shuttled him from the sub.
Oh, okay. All right. That's true. You're right. So I was
Because
trying to make a case for that, but
LaFleur couldn't have been
I
his
failed.
recruiter. He was off the island. He
Right.
wasn't off the island.
Right.
I mean, when Kate is questioned by Phil, like, who was your recruiter?
That guy plays a slime ball every single
I know,
time.
and everything that
single
he's in.
thing. I wonder if he's a nice guy. Honestly,
A lot of times, the people that play those kind of characters usually are. It's usually the nice guys that play the best slime balls or villains. Because I've met quite a few of them. He's not in Lost, for example, but Neil McDonough, for example, is a fantastic villain and creep and slimeball and everything that he plays. He's the nicest fucking guy in person. And when I asked him, like, why do you play all these roles? He's like, I just like playing the bad guy. It's fun.
was he in Band of Brothers?
Neil McDonough was in Band of Brothers, yes.
He was one of my favorite characters in Band of Brothers.
I forget who he plays.
He plays
in Band of Brothers. He's been in a ton of stuff. But in Band of Brothers, he was Neil McDonough is my it's kind of weird to say it. I'll say it in a second, but because he has a nickname. Band of Brothers was Band of Brothers, he was Compton.
Buck. He was Buck.
He was Buck in Band of Brothers.
He was one of my favorite characters in that, and he wasn't a bad guy. He was a good. He played the heck out of that role. If you haven't seen Band of Brothers, stop right now and just go spend the next 10 hours of your life in World War II.
He's been in a ton of stuff, and he's I know he's in Justified for a while too. I haven't gotten to the point where he's in it yet, but he is
in it. Yeah,
I know he's in it. I think he's in it for a full season.
Yeah, he's really good in it too.
But Neil and I met at a convention. I'll tell this quick story, then we'll get back on track, I promise. Neil and I met at a con in Atlanta about, I think, 2017, I think it was. And the con was over. We were at a wine mixer that happened afterwards. And I was on the floor talking to a couple other people. I won't drop any names, but I was talking to a couple other celebrities that were there. And all of a sudden I feel like this bumping on my backside. I'm like, what the hell is hitting me? And I turn around and it's Neil, and he's dancing. He's got wine in his hand and he's dancing and he's bumping his butt up against me. And I'm like, does he think I'm somebody else? And I turn around and he turns around and he puts his arm around me and he just starts dancing. Like he's having a great time.
That is awesome.
And then I ran into him. I went to his booth the next day on Sunday morning. And I was like, I'm surprised like you are the way you are right now. I was like, because you were having a great time last night. He's like, oh, I was having a blast last night. I was like, I honestly am surprised you remember who I was. He's like, oh, I remember who you are, my dancing pal. And ever since then, every time I see him at cons, every time I see him at a show or an event, he calls me his dancing buddy.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I love anytime I'm watching something and I see Neil pop up. Like he just popped. He's in 911 Lone Star right now with Rob Lowe. And my mom knows this story too. So anytime she watches something, then Neil McDonough pops up, she always texts me. She's like, hey, your dancing buddy's in this, or your dancing buddy's in this.
Oh, that's awesome.
My story of meeting Neil is fantastic. Anyway.
It is a good story. Okay, so while you were telling that story, I did look up this actor who always plays the slime ball. His name is Patrick Fischler. And he's just, to me, I mean, he's the one that plays Phil, and he seems so nice. And then all of a sudden he's like real quizzical. And, I see that actor, and anytime I see that actor, I'm like, oh, you're going to be a wrench in something. You just know it.
Yeah, he does. He plays like you said, the slime ball.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't remember his full story, but I'm sure it's not, none of it is going to be positive.
And yeah, I'm sure we're going to get more of that too. We're getting introduced to some of these characters we've only heard in name up until this point. Radinsky's another one.
Yes.
We've only heard the name Radinsky up until this point, and now we're actually getting to meet him in this episode.
Now, is that the same actor that is in just a younger version of the guy from Stranger Things, the Russian guy from Stranger Things?
No, they're two completely
Okay.
different actors.
All right.
Yeah, the one that I know exactly who you're talking about from Stranger Things. I can't. He's a comedian, and I can't think of his name. And God, now it's going to bug me. He's actually a really funny comedian too. And now I got to look it up because it's going to bug me if I don't. But yeah, Brett Gelman.
Okay.
Yeah, is who plays Murray in Stranger Things.
Murray,
Yeah.
that's who it is.
Yeah,
But,
two completely
so
different actors. They look
Radinsky-
similar though.
They do. And I thought maybe with like, because it was like 15 years prior to Stranger Things, and Radinsky has such long hair that maybe it was the same guy, but that's okay. Yeah, so it's fun that we get kind of to see the Dharma Initiative in full action, because we haven't really gotten to see like their day-to-day life yet.
Yeah, because I mean, up until this point, up until maybe a couple episodes ago, everything, like, we've seen this encampment before, we've seen these places before, like we've seen the flame before John Locke blows it up. And now we're seeing it back in pristine condition. Like all these places, like the intake and the infirmary, like all these places, we've seen them before, just under different leadership.
Right.
And different people.
Well, exactly. And it's funny because, under different leadership means they're no longer the Dharma Initiative, but on paper, in early seasons, it looks like Ben's group is the Dharma Initiative. They're using the Dharma stations. They have all the Dharma stuff, but you don't find out until later that split happens, the purge happens, and then Ben lets the hostiles into the camp, and the rest we know.
Yeah.
So to me, I just loved seeing kind of what the initial Dharma Initiative was. The whole 70s vibe is great. Everybody's just happy, and they're on this cool scientific journey or whatever. So that's really fun to see, and I love how well Sawyer fits into that Dharma Initiative. Especially when Horace at the beginning is like, I don't think that you're Dharma material, but he is Dharma material, because Sawyer can make himself any situation material.
He can fit in anywhere.
Right. Yeah. But he really fits in here. Head of security is perfect because he gets to be a hard ass whenever he wants, which, fits his personality, but he also just gets to settle in and just have this wonderful relationship, read his books, have his friends. It's everything that he probably ever wanted in his life. And now Jack is coming, and he's kind of throwing a grenade into his life a little bit.
Yeah. And it's, while we're on the topic of Sawyer again, just to continue on with that too, like, this is a good episode to really, it's kind of something we've already known at this point, but this is a good episode that really shows how quick on his feet and fucking smart Sawyer can be.
Yeah.
And that's when he has to go to the flame to confront Radinsky and Saeed. That whole situation, when Jin comes out and says like it's Saeed, I had to make believe he was a hostile because Radinsky won't leave us alone. Like, when that information, he takes that information and he runs with it. When he goes in and he interrogates Saeed, you can tell by looking at his face, he does not know what the hell is going on. He's in places he's been before that were supposed to be gone. He's seeing Jin and Sawyer in Dharma garb. He doesn't know what the hell is happening. But Sawyer has that charisma, and he has a way of saying something without saying anything that makes Saeed play along with him.
Right.
He goes in and he says, you have to acknowledge that you're a hostile. Otherwise, we have the right to shoot you. That's him basically saying, just say you're a hostile. And Sawyer and Saeed plays along with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's fucking brilliant.
Well, and Saeed is no stranger to this either, because he's been a spy his entire life.
Mhm.
He's been an interrogator. He's somebody that also has had to blend in and play certain parts and characters, especially over the last 3 years working for Ben. So it's interesting that they're both working together so easily, because that's who they are as characters.
And that got me thinking too, like, why did they use Saeed for this role? Like, that easily could have been anybody. It could have been like Hurley ended up separated. It could have been Jack ended up separated. It could have been any of them. And I got to thinking about that, and just like to the point that you made about how Saeed's been in these situations before, if the writers put anybody else into that role, it would not have worked.
Maybe with Kate, and that's because Kate knows how to be in hiding.
Yeah, Kate's been on the run, but then it would have taken away from the obtuse love angle.
Correct.
So they couldn't use Kate because they already had Kate earmarked for
Jack.
driving
Never
away.
would have went along with any of it.
Exactly. So, but I mean, if you threw Jack into that situation or Hurley into that situation, it would not have worked the same way it worked with Saeed.
Hurley would have been like, I don't, okay, sure.
I give up. Like, the moment Sawyer walked in, he would have been like, Sawyer, like he would
You're
have.
alive.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, even to the point where they bring him back to base camp and they throw him in there, and Phil's there, and he's like, just get the man some food. Like, there's that little moment as Sawyer is closing the cell, and he gives like Saeed a little nod.
Yeah.
And that's like, I got you. Like, I got your back.
Yeah.
Like, just chill.
Right.
And then it fast forward to that conversation with Jack. And he's like, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to read my book. I'm going to do some thinking so that tomorrow I know what to do.
So I love that part, just because Sawyer talks about Winston Churchill, and he's like, they used to say that Winston Churchill read a book every night, and it's funny because I find that when I read a book, it causes me to just kind of relax and go away from whatever it is that's happening. And I'm able to think clearer. Like, I'll all of a sudden pause and I can actually think and reflect on something that I need to think and reflect on. It's that quiet and that solitude that really people need in order to kind of figure out what is happening. You can't just always be wringing your hands and trying to plan things and overtalk things out and panic, And it's funny to me that after all of this time that Jack hasn't figured that out.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I mean, like, who would have ever thought at any point we would have heard Sawyer quoting Churchill?
It goes back to what we were talking about last week with how smart he is.
Yeah. He is. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's so weird how and I made this realization early on in this podcast, but how much during this rewatch and analyzing the episodes rather than just sitting and watching, how much more I've become a fan of Sawyer than I ever was. Ben Linus is still my favorite character of this series.
Yeah.
But Sawyer has moved way higher on the list than he ever was.
Well, he's an incredible character with a really, really full and complete journey.
Yes, absolutely. And he's just, God, like, I've just become such a fan of that character well before this time. I've become a fan of the character.
James Sawyer. James
Sawyer.
LaFleur. James Ford.
And as a surprise, let's introduce Josh Holloway. No, God, I wish that was...
Oh my gosh. I would pee my pants.
Well, you know what the funny thing is, too, is the way that we're a little look behind the curtain, the way we're recording this on the platform that we're using, I could very easily bring in surprise guests. I just haven't done it.
Yeah, don't do it. Before you do it, don't do it.
Josh Holloway is not waiting in the wings to come on, but that would be awesome.
Good. Yeah, okay. So the rest of the setup kind of for the rest of this season is we see that young Ben and Saeed make a connection that will be a significant part of the plot in this season. We see a role reversal with Jack and Sawyer that we've already kind of touched on. And then we also see the setup to a long journey ahead of Sun to find Jin through Christian Shepherd with Frank Lapidus. So I'm sure you have, you mentioned earlier that you had some stuff to say about that. So I'm going to turn it over to you and see what you have to say about that whole thing, because we haven't even talked about Hydra Island.
No,
yet.
we really haven't. So jumping back to the beginning of the episode, this is an episode, obviously, we have no previously on, which we usually get through most episodes. But on top of that, this is also an episode that does not focus on any one particular character like we usually get as well.
Yeah, if you go to the wiki, it says none.
Yeah, this is a pure ensemble episode because there's so much that they have to touch on. It didn't make sense to touch on any one particular character because they're all a focus of this one. But yeah, we see Frank as Frank and his co-pilot on the plane, and we get his co-pilot having that conversation. Like, did you see the big guy in the back? He's one of the Oceanic Six. It's like, well, why did you not recognize any of the other Oceanic Six while you were there if you know who they are?
Because Hurley's hard to overlook.
That's very true. That's very true. He's the one your eye would go to before anyone else. I would say the only other person whose eye you probably would catch would be Saeed, because he's in
handcuffs.
He's in handcuffs. Exactly. So I would probably catch that too, and maybe put together two things. But the conversation between Frank and his co-pilot, like, you can instantly tell Frank knows this trip is going to go to hell. And it
Frank
does.
is not having it either.
No.
He's like, oh yeah, is he on the plane? Huh? None. You don't see anything else weird?
But it goes to further my point about my theory as to how they're not in the present day when they land the plane. Because after the flash and after everybody disappears, it suddenly goes from night to day. They are very clearly in a different time.
That is also very true. That's a really good catch.
I mean, it is very clearly a different time, whether it's earlier or later in the day, or it's years, whenever it is. It is definitely a different time than they were in. That plane is not in its same timeline. So the question is, where or when is it? And that when listening upon my second view, it's something I've never caught before until this view. The second view is hearing those numbers, hearing that broadcast as they were bringing the plane down, which Frank, true to his word, when he said earlier on, I could have brought that plane down, he does it.
Well, he did. He found a runway.
I think Frank would have brought that plane down either way.
Well, he's
the runway helped.
Pilot.
The runway helped. The runway opens the path for the plane being able to leave. But if they were never planning on the plane taking off again, spoiler alert, next season, Frank could have brought that plane down without a runway. It would have been very rough, but he would have brought it down.
He probably was like, I get my chance. Vindication. Like, that's what he should have done. He should have gotten out of the plane and been like, vindication. And
it kind of brings you to the point, like, well, why wasn't the other plane able to land? And it's probably because the pilot was not as experienced as Lapidus. It went against the turbulence, which is what broke the plane apart. So it's probably the same kind of experience that the other plane went through.
Right.
Frank was just able to handle it better because he's a better pilot. Nothing against JJ's golden boy, Greg Lumberg, but who happens to appear in every JJ Abrams project. Grunberg, not Lumberg. Frank's just a better pilot, and he proved it by bringing the plane down.
So here's a question for you then, with that thought in mind.
Okay.
If Frank was flying the plane and he was able to stabilize the plane after the initial turbulence, would that mean that our entire lost crew would just have disappeared? and that because if he couldn't get it out of the turbulence, then everybody would have crashed into 1977 instead of just everybody disappearing and then the turbulence kind of being able to right the ship a little bit and then landing. Or am I thinking too much into this?
I don't know. Because I mean, again, like we know that like Jack and Sawyer or Jack and Hurley and Kate and Saeed all disappear from the plane. I think the reason why they disappear is because they already had a connection to that island. I don't think it has anything to do with. But again, like this is like goes back to, we know Frank didn't because Frank wasn't connected to the island. Ben's connected to the island, but he already exists. But why didn't like that? That's the looming question right now, is why didn't Sun go back with everybody else? Why? What disrupted her connection to going back?
Because it wasn't pure. It wasn't to come back to the island as to like a big picture. It was too narrow. Well,
there's that. But I'm also thinking maybe the wedding ring has something to do with it. Because maybe she couldn't go back because the ring was connected to Jin, but she had the ring on her. So maybe it believed that because Jin was already on the island, she couldn't go because she was holding the ring. Because we do see her open her hand and that ring is in her hand when after she's landed and she is on the island. So maybe that ring is what prevented her from going back.
I mean, that's as good a theory as any. I can't think of anything else.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe her connection to Jin, whether it's through the ring or because of the connection that they just have purely as a couple. That's what prevents them from going back. That's what prevents her from going back with everybody else.
It also would have been impossible to play off Sun being a part of the Dharma Initiative on the submarine, reuniting with Jin. It would have been impossible.
Yeah, I agree with you because, and not even necessarily because of the submarine aspect, but because of how much Jin changed just knowing Sun was on that plane.
Right.
As frantic as he got trying to find out, like not even listening to Sawyer, not listening to anybody, instantly just going off on his own, acting on his own instinct. There's no way he would have been able to hide that.
Right. No.
If he saw Sun.
Right. No. There and same with Sun too. I mean, she in her mind, she watched Jin die.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she doesn't even know if she's going back to Jin or not. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's that she had doubt. The rest of them knew that they were going back to the island. They had a purpose for going back to the island. Sun still had doubt. And maybe a lot of it. I don't know. Because, Saeed went in handcuffs. He went kicking and screaming.
Saeed was forced on that plane.
He was forced on that plane.
Yeah.
But you can make a case that all of them were being forced on that plane except for Jack.
Well, Jack definitely went by choice. Hurley went by choice because he did enter that plane on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Kate went by choice because she decided to follow along. Saeed was against his will. Maybe that's why Saeed is separate from everybody else, is because he did not go by choice. He went by force.
Maybe. Maybe it was just like their intentions of going is what split them all apart. Maybe. What is interesting is that when the plane crashed, or before everybody disappeared off the plane on flight 316, Jack looked at Ben and said, "How can you read?"
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing happened so he learned nothing from his conversation with Ben, because
I didn't even think about that.
He looks at Sawyer like in the very next, right after the plane crash for Jack, right? And he's like, why are you just reading? How can you just read? And it's like, are you learning nothing?
Yeah.
Really? Are you learning nothing? You had the same conversation with Ben not 12 hours ago. Think.
Well, that's Jack's reactive nature. Like he
Right.
acts on it. He acts on his own horrible instinct. He doesn't retain information.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen him make the same mistakes before. I mean, and he eventually learns lessons, but sometimes they're too late. I mean, Sawyer even tells him, like in that conversation, like, and if I remember correctly, people died because of your reactive nature.
A lot of people died.
Like, well, I mean, yeah, you look at how many survivors there were in the very first episode of Lost. And by the time they get off the island, there's what, maybe 12? It's like, because there were, I think like 40 or 50 survivors from the start.
Right.
And it's less than half that now. And that was when Jack was in charge.
Right. Well, I mean,
And
just the fact that the helicopter took off with Aaron and not Claire because of the rush that Jack made to get off that island. You know, I mean, I just don't see. I don't see how his leadership was a positive force.
I don't know if I can put Claire on his shoulders.
I can easily.
Claire kind of disappeared on her own, and he was kind of under a time constraint that if he didn't leave at that point, they were never leaving. So I could see him making the choice to rescue Aaron and leave without Claire. But I will say it was irresponsible of Jack to not want to go back, and it was clearly Kate's decision to go back for Claire and not Jack. Even after he found out he was related.
Right.
It was still more Kate's decision than Jack's.
Mm-hmm.
So that I will put Claire on Jack's shoulders in the aftermath, but not at the time.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You know, I mean, we know that Jack kind of goes bonkers and like desperately feels he needs to go back more than anybody else at that point. But still,
because he's reacting to Locke's death.
Yeah, but like. And that's the weird thing, too. Like, he's reacting to Locke's death, which he absolutely is doing, or Jeremy Bentham's death, rather. But when he tells Sawyer that Sawyer is dead, he's like, or not Sawyer's dead, that Locke is, when Jack tells Sawyer that Locke is dead, I'm getting all my characters confused. Like, he kind of brushes it off at that point. Like, well, like, why did it impact you so much then and not anymore? Like now that you're back, suddenly it doesn't matter anymore.
He's trying to get control. That's all I can think of, is that he's trying to establish control, and Sawyer is the person that he has to go up against to do that. And he ultimately fails pretty spectacularly at it.
Well, Sawyer has the upper hand from the moment of intake when he gets janitorial work.
That was off from his aptitude testing.
From his aptitude testing, which you can see, like, Jack is like, well done, Sawyer.
That was awesome.
He kind of chuckles because he's like, all right, he got me on this one.
That was awesome. I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah. But I mean, so talk about Christian Shepherd. Talk about the other Shepherd.
I was just going to say, let's get back to Jin and Sun, because we kind of got away from us. But yeah, I mean, we see from the moment that they crash, I want to make a point to bring something up because I made a note of this, and I kind of want to bring this up. There's a familiar face in the group of survivors. He becomes a regular cast member throughout this season. Somebody familiar is in that group of survivors. You only see him real quick, then eventually he does become a character. But actor Brad William Henke is there. He's been in Justified. He was on The Stand. For those of you that might not know, Rima and I, when we covered The Stand on Strange Indeed, I was able to arrange an interview with Brad because he was playing Tom Cullen in The Stand. Incredibly nice guy. And when I mentioned this Lost podcast, he was more than willing to come on and talk about his time on the show. Unfortunately, Brad died. He passed away in November of last year. So I just want to acknowledge Brad. Like you said, like the people that play those kind of characters, like the villainous slimeball characters, are usually the nicest guys. And his character's not exactly the best in this season. But he was an incredibly, incredibly nice guy. Like I said, more than willing to come on this podcast to talk about his experience with it the same way MC Gainey did. And unfortunately, we never got the opportunity because he passed away. So I just kind of wanted to acknowledge him. Well, since I saw him, because I got kind of sad when I saw his face.
Of course.
Because when you meet somebody and you get to know that they're incredibly nice, and then you find out they pass, especially early, like he was only in his 50s when he passed away, and you know, it was really a bummer. And I don't want it to ruin covering the show. The more and more we see him, like I don't want to bring it up every time saying he passed away. I'm like, let's just address it now, and then this way we don't have to address it going forward. Yeah, unfortunately, Brad passed away in November. So now that I got that out of the way, we see, Frank addressing all these survivors, and then we see Ben kind of go off on his own because Ben knows exactly where he is.
Right.
And
he gets his bearings the minute Caesar says there's a building over there with blah, 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 blah. And Ben's like, all right, I get it. I know exactly where I am later.
Well, from the moment, that Caesar says like there's a building over there and there's animal cages, Ben's like, oh, I know exactly where I am. I know where I need to go.
Yep.
And he just leaves, not even without hesitation, just goes, walks off. Son sees this and follows, which leads to the scene on the beach with Frank, Ben, and Son.
Right.
Where, Ben is like, and I love it. Like, as much as Ben is just a ruthless character, there's that conversation with Frank, and Frank's telling Son, like, look, I came on a boat full of commandos who came to stop this man. And Ben immediately replies, and how'd that work out for everyone? It's like, Jesus, like, you're ruthless, but you have a really good point. Like, you took on commandos and are still standing.
Yeah, barely. I mean, there is no other actor out there that can look quite as beat up as Michael Emerson can.
As Michael Emerson. Yeah. But one of the things that I found really interesting about that whole conversation is when he tells Frank, like, you're the pilot, you have people to look after, but I have people I need to take care of too. And in that moment, I realized it's like, Ben still really does believe he's the one that has to make sure everybody's back. Like, he's the one that has to make sure he is the catalyst that has to make sure everybody is where they need to be. Mm-hmm. He still thinks he is the most important person on this island.
Well, I mean, he still thinks he's the guardian of the island.
Yes.
And whether he is or isn't for us to say at this point.
Because he might be at this point.
Right, because there is no successor right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know where in time that they are. Exactly.
I mean, and even when, Jin clocks him over the head with an oar, and she's like, or Son, God, I don't know why I keep doing that. Son clocks him over the head with the oar. She says she lied about trusting Ben, and her and Frank head over in the outrigger over to Hydra Island. They're on Hydra Island. They head over to the main island,
right?
To base camp. When they arrive, obviously, it takes them through the day and into the night to get there. And when they're there, we see this place that's kind of dilapidated, which, if you think about it, could be one of two time periods. This could be 3 years after the others and the commandos came in and ran everybody out of there, or this could be post-purge before the others took it over.
Right. So
it really does still put into question, where do these people fall on the timeline? Where are they? When are they at this point? But back to the point, as they arrive, who's the first person, or what is the first thing they run into, is old Smokey himself, the black smoke monster in the woods. Because you hear the noise. You see the rustling in the trees, but if you listen, that mechanical noise is there.
But I don't think it's the man in black.
I think it is.
But he's wearing white shoes. I think it's Jacob.
Okay. It could be, because you're right. You and I looked at this together before we started recording. We went back to that scene, and the only part you can see Christian Shepherd's feet, it looks like he is wearing the white shoes.
And it would make sense why Locke, as the man in black, is on Hydra Island, because I feel like this sets up the Jacob versus man in black storyline that is eventually going to happen.
So maybe both the man in black and Jacob are there, but Jacob chases the man in black off.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Because we don't see Locke in this episode.
We don't see Locke in this episode. And we know that Locke doesn't wake up until later.
Right.
So maybe you're right. Maybe Christian Shepherd is Jacob. And because the black smoke monster is definitely there. We hear the sound that it makes. But the next person that we see is Christian Shepherd. We see a light come on inside one of the barracks, inside one of the homes in the barracks. And in a creepy as shit moment, the door opens and we just see the silhouette. Now, anybody who's watched the show up at this point, we recognize that silhouette. We know this is Christian. And he walks out and he introduces himself as Christian. But you're right. I mean, I kind of think you have a really good point. The light coming on is a good indication that this is Jacob. Because if this was the man in black, he would have just come out of the dark building.
Or out of the woods.
Yeah. The light would not have turned on. This is somebody coming from the light.
That's a very good point.
This is somebody coming from the light. I think you're right. I think Christian Shepherd is Jacob.
I like it when we talk something out and it gets cooler as we talk.
The more
I saw your face. I saw your face and you're just like, oh, wait, yeah. I like this.
But then we see, Son says to Christian, I'm looking for my husband. And he says, follow me. They take him into, he takes him into that intake building, the registration building, where he pulls the picture off the wall from 1977. And you see the orientation picture with Hurley, Kate, and Jack in the picture.
Hurley,
and he tells her, what's that?
Hurley the chef.
Is he a chef? Is that the role he got?
That's what it says. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot. Do we ever find out what role Kate gets?
She's wearing the dark blue, mechanic kind of fatigues that Juliet was wearing.
Okay, so maybe she's a motor pool.
Yeah, maybe.
Or engineer, depending on which way you look at it, like Juliet does.
They're all fake jobs.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're made up aptitude tests. But Jack getting janitorial is just the best.
The best.
And he shows them that orientation picture and says, you still have a long journey ahead of you. What that means, we don't know, and I honestly don't remember.
Me neither.
Because as we said earlier on in a spoiler, Sun and Jin are not reunited until after the incident. They're not reunited until next season.
I hate that.
I know.
I hate it so hard.
But that kind of, brings us caught up. I think that's everything I have for that particular timeline.
Okay. And I think that that Locke being on Hydra and Christian Shepherd being on the main island is now our black and white, dark and light, man in black versus Jacob setup for the season 6 kind of showdown.
You know what, too? Putting in the perspective the fact that Christian Shepherd is actually Jacob and not the man in black really shines a different light on Claire, too. Because it means that Christian Shepherd is actually protecting and helping Claire. She's not not a follower. He's more a helper.
Yeah.
He's helping to heal her.
And I mean, that completely makes sense on so many different levels, And the fact that, her helper is a manifestation of her biological father is also a really good indicator that it is for good and not for bad. Because,
Oh, that's right. He is her dad.
yeah. So, because Christian was never there when he manifested himself in front of Jack to ever be anything other than helpful to Jack.
Jacob is being there for her as a father in the form of Christian Shepherd. Even though it's not Christian,
Right.
he's there in the form of Christian for the same effect.
Right.
Holy shit. You're right. I love when we come up with these different things.
Yeah.
Because it's always been on my mind even up until this point. I always questioned, I always kind of believed that the Man in Black was taking the form of Christian Shepherd. But now, you're right.
That's why I wanted to double check his shoes before we started recording.
But the more and more we discuss it, you're right. The Man in Black is very clearly the Black Smoke Monster. That's always been the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was probably a battle between Jacob and the Man in Black as to who could take over Christian. Jacob won, and now he started planting the seeds for his own vessel, which now is the form of John Locke.
Right. Yeah.
Which would have made the ending more interesting if instead of Jack versus John, it was Christian versus John. But I can't say anymore because I know why exactly. Thinking about the way the series ends, I know exactly why it's John versus Jack and not Christian versus Jack.
Yeah. Okay. We'll save that.
We'll save that. I know why it is.
So the only thing that we haven't really talked about, we've touched on young Ben. We did see a young Ben who has the same creepy stare that old Ben has.
It's very clearly a young Ben when you first see him.
Who brings Saeed a sandwich, and he's trying to be kind. Much like Juliet brought Jack a sandwich and was trying to be kind. But we see that the baby is going to be named Ethan.
Yep, which we talked about last week.
Right. So this week we got the confirmation on that. And did you notice that Juliet just put him right down?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, oh, Ethan, that's nice. Here, I'm going to put him down.
But at the same time, the straight face.
Right.
At that point, you know exactly who Ethan is because you've lived with him. Not in the same house, but you've lived with him in Dharmaville.
Right.
So you know exactly who he is and who he's going to become.
Right.
So
I'm just going to put him right here.
I'm just going to put him down.
Put him right down. Thanks.
Because evil might be transferable.
But, Juliet was the right person to go to Amy to get the sub manifest because she's like, I don't want you moving today. I just performed surgery on you. I'm checking on you to make sure you're okay. It was the perfect cover story to accomplish her goal.
Well, but I also think that's because Sawyer has been an influence on her.
Of course she's
been witnessing Jim do this con for 3 years now. She's not dumb. She's picked up on some stuff. So when Amy wakes up and sees her, boy, does she jump right to it.
And, couples tend to take on each other's characteristics as time goes on. Sawyer's more calm. Sawyer is a lot calmer than the last Sawyer that we saw, right? That's Juliet's influence right there. His loving tendency, his nurturing nature, that's all Juliet right there as well. So they're picking up each other's best qualities, I guess. One of Sawyer's best qualities is being adaptable and thinking on the fly. So I really, really enjoy this time that we get to spend with Sawyer and Juliet because it's just such a great arc for the two of them.
Yeah, and as we know from this series, the best couples in the series usually come to tragic ends. They're one. And the other one we've mentioned a couple times, but they're not reunited yet. So, oh God, we still have some really hard moments to get through.
Yeah, I know, man. I don't want to talk about it today. I want to talk about the good stuff. I want to talk about the good stuff. Like Hurley's a chef And baby Ethan is still a baby. Young
but it
Ben
all-
is still kind of nice.
he's still he's still kind of nice, which is great. I've covered almost everything I have. I have a couple
I'm
little
done.
notes. I have a couple little. Do you have any notes? Any additional
No,
stuff?
I've said all my stuff.
Okay, I'll go through mine really quick then. In the flame, we see a model of the swan, aka the hatch.
Yep.
Before it's even being built, which is a nice little thing. The scene with Juliet coming in to save Claire, I thought was interesting, and they both played it off really well, pretending that they
Juliet coming to save Kate.
Kate, not Claire.
Yes.
I'm getting my names all mixed up today. Sorry.
That's okay. I sat there. I was like, oh my gosh, did I miss something in the background?
No. In the scene with Ben and Son, as they're going off to find the boat, Ben takes off his sling.
Oh yeah, he does. He's not hurt.
Healing. He's healing.
Oh, he's
already.
healing faster.
He's healing faster. The island already has its effect on Ben. He's healing faster. His arm is already healed, even being on the island for a couple hours.
I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot about the island's magic powers.
Yep.
Well, Amy should be up and around then. Get out of the hammock, girl. Let's go.
So but we already don't know. Like, things are already different in the 70s and in the present day, or whatever time period that they're in. Because remember, Amy was able to have the baby on the island, whereas
that's right.
During they're not. Mm-hmm. And the energy is different.
It's because it's pre-incident.
Yes. Yeah.
So everything changes after that.
So the island is healing Ben already. Mm-hmm. He's already up and at him. Now, I don't know how quickly he's going to heal from an oar to the head, but we'll see.
Well, he makes it out alive, so.
This is true. And we know he wakes up relatively soon.
Yeah.
The only other note I have, and this is I like this one. This one could be me just digging into things too deeply, but not. When Sawyer is bringing them in for intake and they're having the big orientation, the song that is playing is Ride Captain Ride by Blues Image. Mm-hmm. I know this song. I love this song. I think this is a great song from the 70s. But if you read particular lyrics to this song, you can kind of read into it a little bit. The refrain is, ride, Captain, ride upon your mystery ship. Be amazed at the friends you have here on your trip. Ride, Captain, ride upon your mystery ship on your way to a world that others might have missed.
Yeah.
Now, could that mean something? We know that these guys use music and literature for every song and book that they use.
Oh yeah, nothing's by accident.
Nothing is by accident.
Right.
So
nothing is by accident. So that you can easily break that down into, your mystery ship is the sub or the plane, right? Because because this is the song for the Dharma Initiative recruits that are coming in, right? Mm-hmm. So
yes.
But it's also has a second layer in the fact that, your friends, the trip that your friends have missed, Son and Frank, Lox's corpse, and even Ben are not there. Right.
Well, I mean, the line, be amazed at the friends you have here on your trip. Like, these are these people that are all connected. These are the people that are all working together for a greater purpose at this point, they don't know what their purpose is. They only knew it was to get to the island. Once they're there, they don't know why they had to go back. They think it's just to save everybody, but they definitely have a greater purpose to being back. They just don't know it yet.
Right.
And the on your way to a world that others might have missed is exactly what you said. There are people that are not on this island that didn't make it in the flashback in Son and Ben and Frank. Like, they didn't make it back to whatever time period they're in, to the 77.
Right.
So,
well, and be amazed at the friends that you have here, or I'm paraphrasing, of course. But
have here on your trip. You were right.
Okay. Yeah. I would be very amazed to see a baby Ethan and to see a kid version of Ben Linus and and my friends that, I mean, Miles is there and alive, Jin is there alive and speaks perfect English. Sawyer and Juliet are there. Jack sits down and there's Dr. Marvin Candle right in front of him.
Using a completely different name. Yeah.
Right. But admitting him, And so that's, all of that is just probably such a head trip for them. It's kind of like they're on their own little yellow submarine trip.
Yeah. Which is funny because they're supposedly have just come off a submarine.
Correct. Which is okay, which is why they're disoriented. It makes it okay that they're disoriented.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. When Phil was asking Kate, who was your recruiter? And she kind of plays it off. That could very easily be attributed to, well, I'm kind of scrambled right now because I'm coming off this trip. I don't remember in this moment. But luckily Juliet comes in.
Right.
With, a updated manifest. And kind
Phil.
of creep. Creep Phil.
Oh, Phil.
I had another point I was going to make and I kind of forgot what it was. So that's all right.
That's okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll remember it eventually. After we're done recording, probably. So I think that's kind of it for the episode. Oh, I remember what it was now. Faraday. We haven't even mentioned Faraday in this discussion.
He's kind of a throwaway.
Yes, he's mentioned
that he's not on the island.
Well, no,
he left. He said that Faraday left.
Did he leave? I don't remember.
Yeah, no,
Maybe he's
off the island. He leaves and he goes to the mainland, and that's going to be explored in not next episode, because next episode is Saeed's backstory of the last 3 years. So it might be the episode after that, but
it's got to be What Happened, which is 2 episodes from now.
Right. Yeah.
Just by that title alone, whatever happened. I mean, that's what Faraday's been saying.
Right.
So that's most likely. Yeah, you're right. That's probably when it is that we're going to find out more about Daniel. So yeah, next episode, season 5, episode 10. He's Our You. You're right. Is a Saeed episode, and then whatever happened 2 episodes from now is probably when we'll find out about Daniel Faraday.
Right.
So, what I love too is I'm seeing a number of people from Justified pop up.
Yeah.
On this series.
I told you.
I mean, Faraday is. Yeah. I'm in that seat with Brad William Henke. Actually, they play brothers.
His character is so different from Daniel Faraday.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
I'm still in season 2 of Justified, but I'm almost done it. And spoiler alert, I remember I watched the episode with Brad William Henke, the playing the what's the name of the brother, the family? I forget. But I remember watching, I'm like, oh, he's not long for this world. He's going to be gone soon. And the next episode, his character is killed off. And I was like, yep, called that coming.
Yeah, Dickie is in, I think, for 2 seasons.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I think, if I remember correctly. You know what? It's been a while. But anyways, I don't have anything left on this episode of Namaste.
No, I'm good. I think I have everything there as well.
Awesome.
Looking at I think that's pretty much it. So cool. So yeah, as we mentioned, season 5, episode 10 will be the next one. He's Our You, which is a Saeed focused episode, which
is a great episode. Great episode.
It's rated. Yeah.
It's one of my faves. If you're only listening, I know a couple of people that are only listening and not watching along, take a stab at watching a couple of these episodes and see if you can jog your memory a little bit. And the next one with Saeed is a really good one.
This whole season, man.
This whole season's very good. Yeah, just add it to your rotation.
Yeah, I love this season.
Mandalorian doesn't start for another couple of weeks. It's okay.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, Last of Us is on right now, so that's kind of,
It's on tonight.
I know. Well, at the time we're recording.
Well, yeah. As of Friday, February 10th, It's on tonight.
Which is good because they don't want to compete with the Super Bowl, which I fully appreciate because
that was never going to be a competition for me, but okay.
Meaning, which one would you be watching?
Last of Us.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, 100% all the way.
So we're going to go. We got some feedback for this week in the form of 2 voicemails from our friends, Steve and Des. But before we do that, just want to let you know that if you want to leave us feedback, which we encourage you to do, easiest way to do that is just visit our website at revisitedpod.com. There you can find ways to connect to our social media, leave a review, which we highly hope you do as well. Just to help us out there. And you can find ways to leave us feedback in the form of an email or a voicemail right from the website, which, again, we encourage you to do. That said, who do you want to start with? Des or Steve?
Let's go in alphabetical order.
Okay, so we'll go with Steve. We'll go with
Wow.
I did it intentionally. All right, here's our voicemail from our buddy Steve. Or Des, damn it.
Des, what is wrong with you?
I am confusing names.
You need a nap. You need a nap.
I was up too early this morning. So, all right, here's our voicemail from my friend Des.
Hey guys, calling in to talk about Namaste. I've got a little bit to talk about, so I'll probably try to talk really quick, try to bullet point things. When Sawyer first sees the remnants of the Oceanic Six, he says, "Good to see you, Kate." Doesn't say Freckles, Kate, which kind of just shows that he is really over her. Juliet realizes that she's responsible for delivering Ethan. We get to see a clip of the Muppet Show. And the music in this episode, 2 main songs. One was called Ride, Captain Ride. It was a 1970s song by the Blues Image. In the lyrics, the crew invites others to ride along with them to a new land where they will live, where they will feel free. However, the local people are too preoccupied with life's troubles to hear or answer their call. When the crew set sail, they are never seen or heard from again. Kind of sounds like Lost, I don't know. And the other song is Dharma Lady by Geronimo Jackson, air quotes. I always thought this song was written for the show, but it wasn't. There was a group called the Donkeys in 2008 who released a song called Excelsior Lady, and they just reworked it to fit Dharma Lady. So that was news to me. When Sun and Lapidus see the trees shaking and hear a noise, and Lapidus wonders what it is, Sun says, probably just an animal. Where was she at for 100 days when everybody else was hearing monsters and stuff out in the wild? That's all I actually have to say about that episode. But I want to go back a few of your episodes when you were like kind of confused about what had changed in the past or if they changed anything in the past. Daniel literally says nothing can be changed. Everything that happened, happened. So they were always there. Nothing ever changed. And it was really weird because when I was like kind of Googling this to get proof, I ran across a Bible quote. It's, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time." And this happens to be Daniel 7:25. It really doesn't talk about time travel. It just kind of sounds like it. It's about the Antichrist, and he desires to change the times, and he wants to reorganize civilization in a way that suits his values. But I just thought it was really interesting that that was in Daniel. That's all I got for you. Oh, and do you guys realize that you were wrong when you said that Ben shot Saeed? Just thought I'd bring that up. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Okay, well, first off, Des, you passed my test when I said that Ben shoots Saeed, because it was very clearly the other way around. Saeed shoots Ben. It was just a test. You passed. No, it was me reversing characters again. Like, apparently I've done all episode.
Yes, well.
This week. I knew what I meant when I said it.
Last week, our brains kind of melted.
Yeah. But I mean, in regards to the whole, like, you can't change time thing, whatever happened. I'd say yes and no, because very clearly different things have changed because of what people have done. Daniel speaking to Desmond, it very clearly changed something in Desmond. It gave him a new memory. So the past can be, maybe not the past can be changed, but the present can.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know if I exactly believed as what you said in that, like, it can't be changed, because we've seen examples of where it can.
And we're going to see later in this season that Faraday completely changes his mind on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I think that there's a lot that we still have to break down about this overall. So it'll be interesting to see where we go in the coming weeks.
I mean, for the most part, I do think he's right. Whatever happened. I think there are exceptions to that rule.
Okay.
Like we know there was an incident on the island, and it becomes very clear that these people were involved in that incident, that they didn't know when they first heard the incident that they were involved in it, but they were.
Right.
Because whatever happened. Like that's where it falls in, where that's actually correct. But I do think there are examples where that is wrong. And I think we'll see more of them too as we go forward with Faraday.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that Des ends up, agreeing as well.
Hopefully. But if we know Des, he probably won't.
No.
He'll leave us a voicemail next week saying, just so you know, you were wrong.
You're still wrong. I'm still right.
And I'm fine with it. And I'm fine with it because we love Des. So
yeah, me too. I miss him.
Happily leave us a voicemail and tell us we were wrong again next week.
I'm going to send him some sweet heat Skittles soon.
Ooh, they sound good. I'm so excited that I know this is off the topic again, but Skittles went back to lime instead of green apple, which makes me so happy.
I miss sugar.
I haven't eaten Skittles since they dropped lime and went to green apple, but now they're back to lime, so I'm happy. All right, let's play our voicemail from our friend Steve.
Hello, Ben and Kristin. This is Steve, and this is for Lost Season 5, Episode 9, Namaste. No previously on. He's the best. Dude, you might want to fasten your seatbelt. And he just puts his sleep mask on. Lapita's such a great pilot, and now we know why they were building a landing strip in Season 2 or 3? What went through the windshield and stuck him 30 years earlier? So now we know that at least Ben and Frank and Son are in the present time, or whatever the present time is. Whoa, how shocked are they to learn it's 1977? What? Isn't that the same Russian guy that we know 30 years later? How young is he going to be here? And does he only have one eye still? Okay, Rosinski's a different guy, not the Russian guy. He's building a model of the station that's going to become the Button, right? Oh, and Frank, the pilot, assuming the role of leader here, appears. They finally acknowledge that there's two islands, and they move together. Okay, so Son was following Ben, and Ben wants to get over to the other island, but how was he going to do it? So Amy just told Juliet there's at least 2 empty spots on the sub. Oh, and that little look from Juliet when Amy said Ethan, now she knows who this baby is that she delivered. I don't remember what happened to Faraday. It's not a damn game show, Hugo. Oh, careful, Jen and Sawyer. Someone could be monitoring this radio. And you're talking about Saeed. Oh, Ben knew where there was a boat hidden. Okay. I totally forgot that Son knocked him out, but I was just thinking in my head, didn't they say that it was Son and the pilot that took a boat away? Oh, Son, you're great. I lied. Pierre Chang, Namaste. Title of the episode, mic drop. Jack's the janitor. Just an whatever, gee whiz question. Why does everybody else get to use their names except Sawyer? Oh, Son and Frank just found Christian. Is he the man in black or is he Jacob? I don't remember. I guess we need to see his tennis shoes. Does he have the white shoes on or what? Nama what? That's not the name of the episode. Namaste, mic drop. Oh, Jack just realized that Juliet is with Sawyer. I have to pause just to make a comment. I forgot how utterly, amazingly beautiful Elizabeth Mitchell is. She is amazingly attractive. Ooh, this face-off between Sawyer and Jack is just great. I think you react. Oh, you're right, Kristen and Ben. That's all you're going to get, Kate, a wave. Oh, and we have just met the young Ben Linus. Oh, I got to wait for the next episode. Ah!
Thanks, Steve. You don't have to wait. You can just go on and watch it. The 30 years earlier, I thought about that too when I'm questioning, like, well, where are they actually in time? Are they in the present day or are they in a different time period? And the 30 years earlier could just be from when they took off. Doesn't have to be from where they ended up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
30 years earlier is from when the plane disappeared.
That's true.
So
That's true.
It doesn't, from the date that flight 316 took off, then it's 30 years earlier.
I was even entertaining the idea that Hydra Island was operating on a different time than the main island. But I think that I've discarded that theory.
Well, I mean, like, even if they are in the present day, they're not in a different time, they're in the present day, it still leaves that hole when the flash happened, they went from night to sudden day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that can be explained when you think about the payload from the boat and how it took a longer period of time to get to the island than it did from when the boat fired it.
Mm-hmm.
There's very clearly some kind of bubble around this island where time is different. Mm-hmm. And that also makes you think that when they say that the island is moving, it might not be moving physical position. It might just be moving in time. It's still there.
Yeah.
The island is always where it is. It's just a matter of where in time it is.
Right. I can't wait till next week.
I can't wait for the rest of this series. I'm actually going to be sad when it's over again.
Yeah, me too.
Because then our breakdowns end and it's like, oh, well, I mean, who the hell knows? We might get to the finale, which I know you and I both love. Mm-hmm. And we might end up hating it by the time
let's see. Yeah, let's see what happens. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. But thank you guys for the feedback. Thank you, Steve and Des. And again, we encourage everybody to leave it. Just go to revisitedpod.com and you'll find out all the ways to do that, as well as connect to our social media and leave us a review. That said, it's recommendation time, and I think it's your week this week.
It is my week. And what do I have to recommend? Well, Criminal Minds Evolution just ended last night or this week.
It has been picked up for another season, though.
Yes, it has, which is great because they ended it on a cliffhanger. So I'm really happy that it was.
I heard that from Paget Brewster actually on a podcast.
She's amazing. I love Paget Brewster so much. She is like, if I ever got the opportunity to meet her, it would just be me basically groveling at her feet for the entire time. She's amazing.
I will tell you, she is incredibly funny.
She's funny. She's smart. She speaks different languages. She's a good actress. She's an advocate. She's amazing. Anyways, Criminal Minds, it has 14 seasons on CBS, but then they brought it back with the original cast minus a few players, but it's pretty much the original cast for Evolution. It's 10 episodes on Paramount Plus, I believe.
I think so, yes.
Okay. It's fantastic. It was really good. It was really good. I was really happy with it, and I'm very excited about next season. So that's my recommendation.
I said, as somebody who's never watched Criminal Minds before, that's totally fine to be able to jump into this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally fine to jump into this season. And honestly, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it might make you even want to go back and watch the whole series.
Well, that's a lot of TV to catch up on.
It's a lot of TV, but it's good TV. It's really good TV. And you could even, if you're interested in the show, I could even tell you where you can start if you'd like that, because they have changed up their cast a couple of times. Because of behind the scenes kind of network TV drama over the years. But the show as a whole, it's really great. And I'm really hoping that they bring back the other two cast members that couldn't make it for for this season because of scheduling conflicts. They said that they might be bringing them back for future seasons if the show got picked up. So I'm really excited to see if the other characters come back, because I definitely missed Matthew Gray Gubler this season. It would have been great to see him. But the show worked anyways, even without him.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's on my list to check out, especially on your high recommendation, because I know you're a big fan of the show. You've been recommending it to me for a while.
I love that show.
If we haven't learned anything yet, it's that it takes me a while to get to your recommendations, because how long did it take me to get to Justified?
And New Girl.
Yes, and New Girl, which I blew through once I started it.
Yeah, I give good recommendations.
Justified's taken me a little longer to get through because I'm kind of spacing it out.
Because it's
like
so
I said,
good.
I'm almost on season 2, and I'm already loving the series. Like, Waylon Gibbons might be one of my favorite, like, television
Raymond
characters.
Gibbons.
Raymond. What did I say?
Waylon. Yeah.
Have we not learned anything this episode?
It's really bad today.
It's
Don't talk
really bad
anymore.
today.
Don't talk anymore today. Go to Leo's, get a sandwich, and just watch TV the rest of the day.
Oh, I don't go to Leo's for my cheesesteaks anymore. I found a better place.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this after we're
right.
done recording. But yeah, I found a much better place than Leo's is great if you're familiar with the Philadelphia area. But what's funny is I posted on my Facebook page yesterday, pitting Bud Light against Coors Light is like pitting Pats against Geno's. Everybody's familiar with both, but they both still suck.
Yeah.
Please, anybody who's listening, if you ever come to Philadelphia to visit and you want to taste the cheesesteak, because that's what we're famous for, don't go to Pat's or Geno's. They're tourist trap. They're tourist trap. Well, Leo's isn't in Philly.
Okay, but
it's
still
outside of Philly. Yeah, still go to Leo's. Well, nope. I told you there's a better place. You can still go to Leo's, though. They're still good. I also want to make a quick mention too. You and I recorded on It's Showtime, folks, on Podcastica.
We did,
where we talked about everything, everywhere, all at once. Loved having that conversation.
It was fun.
With you about that movie, and a lot of people have messaged and said how much they loved our conversation on it as well. So
yes.
If you've seen that movie before and you want to hear our thoughts on it, you can very easily just go to podcastica.com and look up It's Showtime, folks, as one of the podcasts, and you'll see that episode. As well as Kristin talking about Avatar: The Way of Water with Wendy.
Yeah. I've been busy on that particular podcast.
You know what's funny too is there's been a number of people who have said like, "Oh, I want to cover this movie, but Ben should do it with me." And I'm like, folks, I love the fact that you guys are all want me to do this with you.
It's not my podcast.
It's not my podcast. Let's give some other people a turn.
Yeah, right.
Like Mark was saying, like he wanted to do The Greatest Showman with me, which I will happily do. Penny asked me if I wanted to do Bubba Hotep with her. I'm like, I love that movie, but like let's give some other people a chance to kind of shine. Well, that's what happens when you have a movie podcast. Like everybody wants to talk movies with you, which
movies are fun.
And on that note too, I'll make quick mention of this and then we'll wrap it up.
Nothing's quick today with you.
I know. My Wilhelm podcast, wilhelmpodcast.com, has some new episodes coming out on the same day that this drops. For Valentine's Day, we're doing top 5 favorite movie couples. I'll be doing that with my friend Lindsay, who's going to be returning to the podcast. And then in 2 weeks, our friend Eric, aka Mr. Blog, is doing an episode with me, which I'm very excited about because he's on the Cast of Us podcast with me. Him and I are going to be talking about our top 5 favorite Mel Brooks projects.
Yay! That should be fun. That should be a good listen.
And we're doing that just in time for History of the World Part 2, releasing on Hulu March 6th.
Excellent.
So we figured what better time to talk about Mel Brooks than now with that coming out. So
excellent.
And I'm excited.
You guys will crush that.
I'm excited to talk to podcast with Eric.
Yeah, that'll be really fun.
So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. And then we got some Oscar talk coming up. We're going to do review of the Oscar nominations and make some predictions. So fun stuff coming there too. Any final notes before we wrap it up?
No, sir. We're done.
All right. Well, that being said, next episode, season 5, episode 10, He's Our You, which will be releasing next week. Thank you as always for being a part of this audience, for being a part of the family, for reviews, feedback, everything that you guys do. But until next time, we'll see you guys further on down that rabbit hole. Take care.
Bye-bye.
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!